They say the Appalachian Mountains are some of the oldest in the world. Older than bones, older than stories. And in the deepest hollers, where sunlight fades before noon and cell service doesn't dare reach, something watches, something remembers, something waits. Over the centuries, people who live here, who really live here, have shared stories, strange lights in the trees, voices calling from the woods in the voice of your dead grandmother, and more recently, tales of those who never left the wild, people or things that dwell in caves. They emerge only at night, pale, dirty, silent, or screaming. Today we step into the shadows of that tale, the feral people of Appalachia. Some say they're just forgotten families. Others say they're not fully human anymore, if they ever were. I'm J-Rod, and welcome to Hollow Light, where the veil is thin, the stories begin. The Globe Valley Wild Man, a warning from the past. In the summer of 1877, nestled deep in the rugged heart of Caldwell County, North Carolina, Globe Valley was known more for gold than for ghosts. But what miners found there wasn't treasure, it was terror. A group of seasoned men, prospectors, used to danger and wild animals, were working deep near a wooded ridge when something massive appeared. They described it as standing at least 6.5 feet tall, covered in thick, dark hair. Its head was funnel-shaped, narrow at the top and wide at the base. Its eyes were deep-set, and it gave off a presence that one witness called ancient. But it wasn't just its appearance, it was its behavior. The wild man stood tall, beat its chest, and released a bone-shaking roar before sprinting back into the trees with impossible speed. These weren't uneducated ramblings. The local paper ran the story. Locals began to whisper more freely about similar sightings, strange figures watching from the tree line, following hunters, or screaming in the night. Some said it was a mountain man gone mad. Others said it was a watcher of the holler, a protector, or a predator. This wasn't the only report, though. Throughout the 1800s and early 1900s, similar tales emerged from West Virginia, Kentucky, and eastern Tennessee. The names changed: Wampus Cat, Boogerman, Haint, Woods Devil. But the warnings stayed the same. Don't go too deep. Don't stray from the trail, and whatever you do, don't follow the sounds calling your name. Modern day whispers, eyewitness accounts of feral people. Legends have long roots. What keeps them alive are modern eyes. Today, people still report seeing strange figures in the hollers, pale faces in the trees, screams that start human and end wrong. One of the most consistent claims: they live in the caves, and they don't want to be found. Witness Account 1, Terry Reed's compilation. Terry Reed, author and folklorist, has gathered dozens of first-hand stories from people across Appalachia. One woman, hiking in a remote part of Kentucky, came across what she thought was a naked man crouched behind a fallen tree. She approached, concerned, only for the figure to lurch upright. It was covered in tangled hair, its eyes were yellow and wide. It growled. Not like a man, not like a bear. Something in between. The smell, she said, was like
right in wet dog, but worse. Like the woods themselves were bleeding.
Witness Account 2, The Climbing Man. A camper recounts an incident from his youth in the Blue Ridge area of Virginia. He said,
Me and my cousin were by the fire when we heard something moving up the hill. We shone a flashlight and saw a figure, all limbs, like it couldn't have bones. It scrambled up the side of the hill, not down. No animal climbs like that.
They packed and left by dawn. The cousin never camped again. Witness account 3, Night Screamer of the Smokies. A retired forest ranger described hearing screams every night for a week that sounded like a woman being attacked, but no one ever found her. When he followed the sound one night, it stopped, and something breathed behind him.
I turned and nothing was there, but the ground had footprints, bare feet, but wrong. The toes were too long, white fingers.
These aren't just spooky stories, they're a pattern. Every remote region in Appalachia has its own tale, and yet they share too many details to ignore. Pale or hairy, hunched or long-limbed, always seen at night near caves or abandoned places, and always gone before help can arrive. Could these be descendants of isolated settlers? Could it be a lost tribe, something spiritual, or something else altogether? The disappearance of Dennis Martin.
Dad?
On June 14th, 1969, Father's Day weekend, the Martin family was camping in the Great Smoky Mountains near Spencefield on the Tennessee-North Carolina border. Dennis Martin, just 6 years old, was playing hide and seek with his brother and 2 other boys. His father watched as Dennis darted behind a bush no more than 50 feet away, and then he vanished completely. Rangers, special forces, helicopters, and hundreds of volunteers searched for days. They combed the woods, they used bloodhounds, they questioned campers. Nothing, not even a piece of clothing, until one strange detail emerged. The key detail. That same afternoon, a separate family several miles away reported hearing a loud scream. Then they saw a large, rough-looking man bolt into the woods. He was filthy, barefoot. His clothes were shredded. The Park Service dismissed the account, said it couldn't be related. But those who lived near the mountains, they remembered. They spoke of old rumors, of people who never left the wild, who live in the caves, who take. The Martin case remains one of the most mysterious disappearances in U.S. National Park history. It's been over 50 years, and no trace has ever been found. What are they? Theories and reflections. So, what are we dealing with? Are these stories of feral people just Appalachian ghost tales? Or is there something more under the surface? Theory 1. Isolated humans gone wild. Some say these are the descendants of settlers who fled civilization, families who vanished into the forest generations ago. Over time, isolation and inbreeding warped them. They became nocturnal, aggressive, primal. Maybe they just don't fear us. Maybe they hate what we represent: firelight, roads, and voices. Theory 2. Spirit beings of the land. The Cherokee told of the Nunihi, spirit beings who lived under the mountains. They were neither fully good nor evil, just other, immortal, capable of vanishing in an instant. Maybe these stories of feral people are echoes of those older beings, or encounters with something we don't yet have a word for. Theory 3. Something darker. And then there's the dark theory. one echoed across many cultures, that some caves, some mountains are not just places, they're doorways, and what lives beyond them sometimes comes through. People speak of glowing eyes, voices calling in a loved one's voice, or sudden dread when nothing is there. That's not a wild man. That's something wearing man as a disguise. My personal reflection. I have a deep-seated faith in Jesus Christ. I firmly believe what the Bible has to tell us about spiritual warfare, and I believe there is far more to this world than what we see. These stories, they aren't just entertainment, they're warnings to us. I also believe that the veil between this material world and the spiritual one has thinned, and even has torn in parts. Maybe in places like Appalachia, we have tears that allow things to come through. Maybe what we call feral is a ripple, a symptom of something deeper waking in the woods. I don't claim to have all the answers, but I do believe this. We should listen to the old stories, because the land remembers. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the hollers of the strange, the hidden, the hollow light. If this story stirred something in you, a memory, a fear, a question, share it. I want to hear your story. And if you've ever heard a voice in the woods that shouldn't have been there, well, you're not alone. If you've made it this far, post feral in the comments below, hit like and subscribe for more tales from beyond the veil. God bless, stay prayed up, and remember, some lights are meant to guide you home, while others are warnings.